Yo, you know I never watched a Vada fly video a day in my life, man. Like since I ever been not just a fan of battle rap, but even since I started doing the blogging thing myself, I never one time clicked on any video to listen to anything Vada fly. Well, Kenny's what they call him. To listen to anything he had to say. I'm not just saying this because of the circumstances either. I always felt like that. To be frank with you, if I'm being 100, I kind of feel like that about a few of these bloggers. You know what I'm saying? But I always got vibes from them. Always had gotten vibes from them. I always had gotten like cornballish vibes from them. You know, I just couldn't quite put my finger on it, fam. I didn't know what it was. So, I just never had no interest. I just never could subscribe to anything he was talking about. You know, it's ironic how this type of situation right here pops up, and then another situation from the past gets light shed on that. But you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that, brother. You did not have to do that because it's like this, man. Picture a battle rap blogger, right? Who's established in the culture, get thousands to millions of views, on one of the most popular popping, one of the biggest channels on here as far as I seen his numbers. I don't listen, but I see his numbers. One of the biggest known battle rap bloggers in the game, pulling a thirsty blogger move by bringing up something nobody would have known a damn thing about. As far as that Hitman and Uncle Rod situation, it's like this. If I was Uncle Rod, I wouldn't have showed up. Hitman and them didn't say you couldn't come to the event, right? But you know enough about, Hitman to know he don't really rock with you like that. How I feel about it, I'm not going where I'm not celebrated. You understand? I'm not going where if I know a person really don't want to be around me, and if the vibe ain't, if it ain't what I feel like it should be enough for me to feel comfortable around, you can't feel comfortable around somebody if you know they really don't want to be around you. You know, I mean, no matter what the circumstances, even if they say, listen, I don't really rock with you, but you can come if you want. That's basically what that is. I wouldn't have went. I wouldn't have went. I don't care about, ain't no footage worth that, putting yourself in this situation. You understand? Uncle Rod say he was trying to get folks to talk to Holla to understand exactly what the gripe is. Cause I remember Holla, he did make it known he don't rock with 15 minutes of fame, man. He said this is why I don't do interviews of 15 minutes of fame. He said that a while back. I think it's pertaining to that Mook interview. You understand? And the thing is with these like 15 minutes of fame, hip hop is real. Sometimes they do that thing where they're talking to these battle rappers about the other battle rapper, and even Uncle Rod admitted this. It's like, yo, I might try to instigate a little bit for a battle to happen and make it interesting, And sometimes you forget that the other person really be watching, and they might take offense to what you're saying. You understand? But ultimately, I don't feel like Uncle Rob like really means any harm or anything like that. I don't blame. I see what Hitman's side is at. You know, people say he's emotional and things like that. People going at the boss chick. She taking the brunt of it for real, for real. Hitman, I don't think he spoke on it for real. She talking to Three Letter Man. I understand Hitman's side of it. He basically like, yo, y'all know the culture already is quick to say I'm emotional. I overreact. You know, they already paint a certain picture about me. So you as media, with one of the biggest media platforms in the game, you know better than that. What? Be careful with how you move, what you say, towards me, because narratives in the battle rap culture. Oh my God! Listen, like a snowball, you just roll up and throw down the hill. That thing will roll and get bigger and bigger, just like that, fam. Even though I don't even remember what Uncle Ross said, you know what I mean? I think he probably was just instigating a little bit. Do I think he meant anything by it? I really don't. And who knows? Uncle Rob was saying he wanted to know what was going on. If him and Holla could talk, Holla really don't have to talk to him except that Olive Branch. He really don't. After all of this, maybe some folks will get together and maybe there'll be that one positive thing to come out of it, and folks will, be like, Holla, you mind if, you know, Uncle Rod talk to you or whatever. Maybe some folks will get them together so they can really hash it out. Because can it really be that deep? It can't be that deep if the man allowed him to come to the event. But Uncle Rod, at least he kept it real. He was like, he pulled up there. Even though they was like, yo, everybody got to get a ticket. Everybody, you got to get a ticket. Ain't nobody exempt. Uncle Rod pulled up on this 15 minutes of fame, fool. You know what it is. It's Uncle Rod and this bitch. We in there. You know what I'm saying? He kept it real. He said, maybe I was a little entitled. How many men gonna tell you that? How many people gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit entitled. So I give him credit just for admitting that much in front of the camera and everything. But the main thing here is like, that's between Holla and Uncle Ra. Everybody knows what's up, but nobody would have known that much had Vada Fly said anything at all. You understand? And I watched, what's his name? Mike P's interview. And that's something I didn't even remember right there. I don't even know if I was really even watching battle rap like that at that time. That's crazy. Imagine somebody sitting next to you and then they have a whole troll account, like trashing, your show and the people that are on there at the same time because they're trying to basically like come out on top in the situation, basically. That's wild right there. And it's a good thing Mike P brought that up. You know what I'm saying? You know what? There's a few people in this culture who are supposed to be the big dogs, but they really ain't nothing more than a cancer fan. That's just the facts of the matter right there. You know what I'm saying? That man didn't have to do that. He did not have to put that man out there like that. Like, you one of the biggest platforms in the game. And instead of just keeping it to yourself, you really ran to the internet to tell everybody about a situation that nobody would have known. What was you trying to gain from that, bro? That's a sucker move. That make you a sucker. You probably would never come across this video, but if you should, I mean, everybody's telling you now. Everybody letting you know you a sucker. You a straight sucker for that. That was so uncalled for, so unnecessary. Like, what was you really trying to walk away with when you decided to make that damn blog? You tripping, cuzzo, for real. It's really another example of why this culture be so toxic. Because it be the real big dogs in the game, the bigger names, the bigger platforms who's supposed to hold it down more than anybody, and they be some of the biggest suckers, fam. You cannot make this up. Like, I knew there was a reason. I felt the way about homie. I knew there was a reason. I just always in the back of my mind, it was like, I don't know what it is. I just don't like this guy, man. What is it? I could never put my finger on it, fam. Never. Right? Like some of the time I go off my vibe, my gut feeling. Not to say that I could never be off. Sometimes might have been overthinking or whatever the case, but for the most part, it's like, okay, later on you find out, okay, that's why I felt this way about this person. That man makes so much damn sense now, you know? And Mike P, he said it right. Like, how somebody who clearly proved the type of time they was on at one point, because, a motherfucker don't change these stripes. Like, how you calling yourself going at Uncle Rod? You was trying to embarrass that man, bro. Like, he was literally trying to, like, muddy that man's character. For what? And you see Uncle Rod, when he did his blog, he put up that little clip in the beginning of him interviewing you. That was basically him saying, like, yo, I thought we was better than that. I've interviewed you. We've had conversations. Yeah, man said, you got my number. You could have called me if it was something you wanted to know. You could have called me, but you took the information and ran to the internet, did a blog about it. You see what they do for views. My God, a motherfucker have your number and find out some shit they don't even know how truthful it is about you and still run and go talk about it for the views. Somebody who don't even need to do that. You would expect somebody who's lesser known in the culture with that type of information, who trying to come up, trying to get their channel popping to do something like that, but not a Vada, Kenny, what they call him, Kenny Lewis. You should be ashamed. You should absolutely be ashamed of your damn self. You're a sucker. Nothing else to talk about. It's like you thought everybody was gonna jump on. Oh my God, Hitman Holla, Uncle Ra. Everybody already knew that Holla don't necessarily rock with Uncle Ra. Everybody already knew that. I know you feel stupid. That just blew up in your face because now folks jumping on your ass. They bringing up old shit about you. All you really did was remind the culture how much of a bozo ass slimeball and fool you were. That's all you really did. Shit like that is why I even stopped like talking battle rap like that because there's just some weirdos in the damn culture, fam. It don't make sense. The ones that get praised, the ones that get, all the props, all the respect, be some of the biggest slime balls, fam. And you don't, all you have to do is sit back and analyze, and everything will play out the way it's supposed to, exactly the way it's supposed to. And you find out who you dealing with. Just looking in that man's eyes, I always got a vibe about him. So busy trying to get out there what you thought was going to be a hit for views that you don't went and fucked up your credibility. I say this all the time, and I'm going to continue to say it. Not everybody deserves a platform because a platform begets influence. A microphone begets influence. Not everybody deserves that, fam, because it's all about the intention at the end of the day. And then people are going at the boss chick, who's always been looked at as a groupie who just be kissing ass. I used to think that way about it too. I was like, yo, why this girl be following around, people like 40 bars and all you see her on camera, all up in people's face and all of that in the spaces on the daily with these battle rappers. I couldn't sit up in spaces like that. I went in there a few times, bro, but it's like, I don't know these people. I ain't trying to sit up here. It's like you just sitting there waiting for content. I can't do it. I don't see how people used to sit up in them damn spaces, man. And spaces, I don't know, like low key, was they really? It's like a double edged sword, like bittersweet when it comes to them damn spaces, because a lot of shit has actually come from the spaces. But that's kind of like another story. As far as the boss chick, I mean, she's basically the messenger in the situation. You understand? She's taking the brunt of what everybody really feel towards like Holla in the situation. They feel like, Holla, like you doing too much, whatever the case, you know? But listening to the situation, it's like if you have somebody who doesn't rock with a certain person and they still allowed, ultimately at the end of the day, Holla still allowed that man to come to the event. He didn't say, no, you can't come in here. He just said, you can't turn on your camera, right? It was at that moment when he was in that little room, like they said, where Holla, he was like, listen, so it's basically fuck me, huh? You gonna come to my shit knowing the type of terms we on, knowing I still allows you to come in here and you still gonna turn on the camera? I'm thinking Uncle Rod turned it on at that moment because he seen Holla coming at him and he got nervous or something. That's the way it seemed to me. I don't know. Rod said the tension was so high that had they been in the streets, he would have swung first because he thought Holla was going to do something. If they'd been in the streets, it'd be a complete different situation. And that's what I'm talking about. Somebody could have possibly gotten hurt behind that situation, but here it is, Vada, well, Kenny, what they call him, you using that just to get, and it's crazy because your boy be getting views too. You getting views off of something that didn't even have to come out like that, bro. That's not really even anything to run and tell like that. And then it's one thing to speak about the situation. It's one thing to talk about a situation that happened. But it's like, it's completely different when it's like you put 110% of effort into trying to make that man look a certain way. That's a sucker move. That's a sucker move. It'd be the most popular ones. It'd be the ones who get the most praise, the ones that always get all up in the mix, the ones that get the most success out of everybody, the ones that be at the tip top of it all, who'll be the lamest, bro. But you know what it is? It's like they feel because they have these fan bases, because they have that notoriety, because they have the status that they got, they feel like they can't do no wrong. They feel like they can't be called out for the fuck shit that they do. I don't think people should blame the boss though. You understand? She was only going off of what Hitman wanted. And they on her ass too, boy. They saying all type of ish about her. They saying her and 3 Letter Man smashing. that interview she did with him, they got it. I seen this one dude, he talking like she in another room on the couch while three in the next room, and they sitting there having an interview like they're in two completely different places, all type of shit. They saying she need to get out the culture. They just wilding her up, bro. But when you break it down, I don't think it has anything to do with her at all. She was just a messenger in the situation. Everybody entitled to feel how they want to feel, though, you know? I see somebody said, why are people mad at Vada? Because if he wouldn't have spoke about it, somebody else would have eventually came and spoke about it. That's the point. You would expect somebody else who didn't have that man number, who wasn't in front of that man camera, who didn't have one of the biggest platforms, somebody completely different who didn't have a platform, who was trying to get their channel popping. Somebody who was a little bit more thirsty for views or whatever to talk about a situation like that. It made this man look so thirsty, bro. That man said, you got my number. You could have called me, bro. That alone tell you the type of nigga he is. When a fool got your number and he could have asked you about the situation, he could have talked to you, or did this happen for real? Or somebody told me this happened. You ran straight to the internet and tried to tear that man's character down, bro. See what they do for views? It's an addiction. It's like crack. It's like meth or something. They can't help themselves when it come to these views and these numbers. That algorithm. Sell out their own mama to get a hit in the algorithm. Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, Vada. Kenny is what they call him. Yeah, you a sucker, man. You a sucker.